Absolutely. And I think sometimes we play our role down, don't we? So I think, and you don't have to start by saying, oh, I'm an assistant. You can start by saying, this is what I do, and reel off all the amazing work that you do. I think there's always that as well, because people have stereotypes in their head. I know, I read once about someone, if you say you're a yoga teacher to someone, then they'll just relate to any beliefs they've got about yoga teachers, won't they? Whether it's good or bad, and they'll associate that with you. So it's nice to kind of just define your role rather than labeling yourself as well. Yeah.
So have you noticed there's been much of a difference in terms of networking and visibility in general, with people now networking online compared to physically? Is it easier? Is it not easier? What do you think?
It's really interesting, because I did a poll on LinkedIn about this actually, and it came out saying that it was harder to network because of remote working. However, when I've individually spoke to people, I guess it depends on your personality, but some women have said they found it much easier, almost like they're protected by the screen somehow, and others have found it easier because it fits in with their lifestyle better. They can do networking at different times, whereas with their young family they might have missed out on opportunities to go to events. So it's a real mix actually, and I guess it depends on your personality. I think some people, if you're more introverted, I think some people might prefer the remote networking.
Why don't you let us know on the chat, because obviously it's been our experience now for over 2 years, isn't it? I think a lot of us have got used to networking online that might not have necessarily found it difficult to start with, but it's something we've all kind of had to grapple with. So let us know online what you think. I'd also like, there's something else I was thinking, Gemma. Like I said, when assistants do network, they are often networking with people who are more senior to them. They often go along to a lot of events with their executives. They're also quite often the only assistant at the event. So I just wonder if there's any tips on how our attendees can go about feeling, I guess, confident when you're networking with not necessarily your peers, but people that are maybe more senior to you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a few things would be to kind of grab the delegate list so you know who's going to be there. And if you can do a bit of research on people, even better. I guess it depends on the size of the event, but also having just a few questions. I think that's the thing, we go to these events and we forget to almost do a bit of prep. Like, it's okay, other people asking us questions and we can answer, and that's nice because they kind of draw you into the conversation. But just to have a few in your back pocket in case you're faced with, some executives you don't know and you're stood there. And if you've got that question ready and you've practiced it, then it'll come a bit more naturally. And I think just to start a conversation off, questions that feel good to you, something that feels aligned with who you are and what you do. I think that would help too.
Yeah, that's such a good tip. I think one of the things assistants are good at is prepping. So apply that to your networking as well, for sure. Just to follow up on Catherine's point, there's sometimes easier virtually, but then again harder, having to be really engaged and really focused on screen. So coming up with decent icebreakers. I struggle at times not being able to read body language in person, depending on the person. Yeah, I know those we were talking about this yesterday. Those personal cues that we all had are just not there with the screen now, so it makes it harder.
Yeah, definitely, especially if someone's multitasking and you don't know if they are or not, so they're doing something else and you're like, are they actually listening? It's really difficult. It is. I totally understand that.
Well, Gemma, thank you so much for your time today. As I said, you always bring such valuable tips, and I know people will be going back and watching the session and for sure taking down some of the slides that you sent through. So thank you so much again. It's always a pleasure having you at our events.
Oh, no. Thank you for inviting me to be here. I always love it. I love coming to this event. It's always great. Thank you.